right, welcome to One Nation, a Sports Soccer Magazine Extra. I'm your host, Kirk DeMars, and we're going to have a great program tonight. You guys are going to be amped up for what we're talking about tonight, and we've got some very interesting and talented people that are going to be joining us on the program, and you're going to want to hear what they have to say. And it's something that a lot of people don't really know about, but they should. And that's why we're doing this program tonight, is to create some awareness and get some more people involved in this great sport right here in mid-Missouri. We've got Coach Kandace Cook. She is joining us tonight. She is the head volleyball coach at William Woods University, and she's also head volleyball coach at Calvary Lutheran High School. And I'm going to let her tell you all the other different things she does, but she's also coaching these awesome young men that we're having on, Julian Robbins and Andrew Ely, uh, for the Alpha Omega volleyball team. So, with that, and before I butcher anything, I'm going to go ahead and bring these guys all in here. Hey, how are you all doing?
Good,
Good.
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 Hey, thanks for joining me tonight. And I'm sure that you would probably rather be outside playing a little bit of beach volleyball since it's a little nicer today and no rain. But here we are inside. Hey,
Definitely. We played in the rain last week, though.
okay, well, good. You got some in. All right, we'll go ahead and start with you, Candace. So first, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your passion for coaching volleyball?
For sure. So I actually found my passion pretty early on, because of my older sister. I tell people all the time I've been playing volleyball since I was 8, but I only started playing because my sister would trick me every day into playing volleyball instead of soccer. And because of her, I started playing and competing, and I began to find coaches that really believed in me, and I never stopped. I went through some hard times just like any athlete, but the love I actually had for the game is why I kept doing it. And then I began coaching, and I saw the things I was doing for athletes and seeing them grow and being able to fix things that were once broken for them. And it kept me wanting to go back. And the change and the growth that they were making was also helping me grow.
Mhm. So you had a passion for playing, but you also have a passion for coaching. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? I mean, talk about how you got to William Woods and doing what you're doing now, as well as some of the other coaching that you're doing.
Of course. I got to William Woods actually after a couple years at different institutions. I started at Stevens College as the assistant at my alma mater. I did that for a couple years and then was very fortunate to move forward and be the assistant coach at Columbia College for 3 years. And my last 2 years there, I was assistant coach of the year for the AMC. And I had grown so much under the head coaches I had worked for that it was them pushing me to make a change too. They believed in me to be a head coach. And I think I was at a point in my life where I knew I could be too at that level. And I'd already been at Calvary Lutheran for a while as a head coach. So it was just time. And I was
Yeah.
so thankful for all of them and everything that they had built within me and all the
Mhm.
athletes that also helped me grow. That taking over Woods last December was amazing. I mean,
Mhm.
we had a great year. We went from being the year before me, I think they were 16 and 14, and we went 24 and 9 this year just
Yeah.
because of a quick change and some culture change, and the love of the game was back.
Yeah. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the difference too between the college game and then high school? I mean, just talk about the main differences there.
It is very different. I try to tell people that, at least in the college world, you're recruiting your kids. Like you're choosing the kids that get to be there. And in high school, you don't necessarily get to choose. And that's some of the beauty of it. My
Hmm.
Calvary kids are kids that I've put so much of my heart into because they're not necessarily going on to play college, but they're there to learn and they're there to grow and do something extra. And so seeing the like innocent love they have for the game is what keeps me going back. And it's a very Christ-centered institution, and I love it. It's something that humbles me every time that the level of game is so different, but I wouldn't be who I am without both of them.
Right. That's great. You know, you talked about the students, and you've got some two pretty awesome ones that we've got on the program with us tonight, and I'll get your thoughts on them here in just a little bit. But I want to go ahead and ask Julian a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what grade are you in? Where do you live? What school do you go to? Just kind of share a little bit of background about yourself, Julian.
Yeah, of course. So I'm a senior. I go to Ridge High School. I live in Columbia, Missouri. I was originally raised in actually Windsor, Ontario, Canada, and I moved here about 6 years ago for my dad's job. Um, I mean, I've been playing lots of sports, basketball, soccer, all these other things, but when I moved here, I really got into playing volleyball. And this organization before Alpha Omega Club. Um, that's when I first started playing, and then I stuck with it, and then became Alpha Omega, and I still play to this day.
Okay, so there's a whole bunch of stuff right there. You're from Canada. Tell us about the culture change going from Canada to right here in mid Missouri.
Yeah, it was pretty big. I would say. I mean, I kind of live right on the border. If you know where Detroit, Michigan is, I lived right
Hmm.
about 30 minutes, 40 minutes away from there. I would say, well, the middle school change thing, we didn't really have that where I'm. It's just elementary school goes to kindergarten to grade eight. So that was a little weird going to this middle school kind of thing. Um, and I guess volleyball in Canada, specifically where I was, is actually a lot more popular than it is in
Right.
Columbia, Missouri. When I first came here, at least, and
Hmm.
so that was also a big change. Even though I'm a Canadian and I'm not actually the biggest hockey player, a lot of people ask me that,
Okay.
but I'm not a
Okay.
big hockey fan.
Well, I was more concerned about were there grizzlies in the area that where you were, or I mean, was that
I don't think there are
off in
any
another direction?
Grizzlies. No.
Okay. Okay, good, good. Because that would be one advantage of moving to mid Missouri is to get away from the Grizzlies. And anything that would try to eat you. All right. Now, how? I mean, you talked about volleyball in Canada, and again, we've seen the popularity of volleyball in a lot of different countries when we see the Olympics. I want to talk about that a
Hmm.
little bit more later, but um, what got you involved with playing volleyball, especially when you got here?
Oh yeah. Kind of just like Candace. Also, my sister played a lot of volleyball, and so I really looked up to my sister playing volleyball. So it became a sport that I started to just mess around and play with, and I kind of started playing on little teams in Canada. And then when I moved here, like I said, I started playing on the team, and then I would say I really started taking it seriously um, about age like 14, 15 for Alpha Omega Beach Volleyball. With my partner Colin, me and him played a lot, went to nationals a couple years, and then I don't know, I just been really pursuing beach volleyball. I love the most. That's pretty much the whole story for me.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that here in a little bit. So you guys be thinking about that. We're going to be talking about the difference between court volleyball and beach volleyball, and just some of the challenges that you would face when you've got two of you out there on one side running, trying to go fast in the sand. I don't know how you all do it, but we'll get to that a little bit later. But first, we want to ask Andrew. Hey, Andrew, tell us a little bit about yourself and what grade you're in, where you're from, and what school you go to, and anything else that you want to share.
All right. My name's Andrew Reilly. I am 17. I'm a junior at Lynn High School in Lynn, Missouri. Um, I really just, I was born in Jeff City. I wasn't born too far away, so I've been here my entire life. Um, I wasn't, I wasn't too into volleyball until junior high when I first was introduced to it in middle school because I was one of the people that helped get our junior high program started. So with that, it just brought kind of that passion to help other people with learning it, and then helping myself with, of course, learning to play it as well. And that really brought the passion to me.
So, what really drew your interest to volleyball, Andrew? Why did you say, "Hey, this is something I want to do"? I mean, was it anything like I could smash a ball into somebody's face, over the net, or just fly on the ground? I mean, what drew you to the sport?
So in middle school, our business teacher at the time, she had wanted to start up a middle school girls volleyball team, and I had a lot of friends that were wanting to join it. So I said, might as well, go in there and try to help them out. So I, instead of like playing or anything, because I wasn't too like into playing it or anything at that time, I decided to manage for middle school, and then from there, I was asked to manage the high school team. And the high school team, I saw how intense and how dedicated everybody was, as opposed to the newer middle school players. And when I saw that, it just really brought a passion to me and what made me want to start practicing it. So I just went on my own time and started practicing there. I obviously didn't get too good because I don't know much about it in the first place. But then I was introduced to Candace, and she had me play sand volleyball. And at first, I wasn't the best, but throughout the summer, I got a lot better, um, and we ended up going into nationals that year. And just having that feeling of that sort of accomplishment just grew like a flame in me that I can do this, and I'm good enough to be a good player if I have my heart in it.
That's awesome. We've got quite a few people watching, and I just want to encourage any of you that have any comments that you want to make, any questions that you may have, feel free to put that in the comment section, and we will try to address those while we're on here doing this interview. Again, great having you guys on here, and this has been awesome so far. I'm loving it, and I know everybody else is going to like it too. Candace, let's go back to you. Why don't you tell us about boys volleyball and how you became involved with Alpha Omega boys volleyball and just the dynamics of all that.
Yeah, Alpha Omega Beach Volleyball Academy and Club Como merged last April, May, which is where we really began to develop more into the boys' game because Club Como had already had a boys' team. And over the 2 years prior to, we had started bringing boys into beach. And I had noticed early on that they didn't have an opportunity to play. And I wanted them to have more opportunity to play. So when me and the board of directors for Club Como met up and we had decided to merge and create this whole new little empire that we were trying to build and bring our clubs together to be able to provide more for not just the girls in our area, but for also our boys. And honestly, us doing that has just created more opportunity. And we were super excited this year that we were able to fill two full teams for boys. And we're excited for next year because we're aiming to fill three. So we have three
Hmm.
different age groups. And, I've loved running beach, but being able to actually join with an indoor club and see it expand across both kind of styles of play has
Hmm.
been one of the best opportunities for our boys and for our girls.
So where do you have the boys coming from? I mean, how how's this team being put together? How are the teams being put together? Where are they coming from?
So, of course, we do tryouts in the summer, late July. So we have people obviously from Columbia, Jeff City, Lynn, that kind of area. I would love to pull more from some smaller towns around us and get more kids interested. We're lucky that Columbia does have quite a few schools, middle schools, high schools, so we're able to pull athletes from there. But honestly, it's been from a great support system from Club Como and from our current parents that have really drawn more attention to it. And that's how we've gotten more boys to come and try out before it's become such a big thing. And, it's great that Misha is doing this, but beforehand it was word of mouth and just trying to get more boys to see what the game was about and everything that they could accomplish by doing it.
Okay. So typically, where do you guys practice? Where do you train? I mean, where do you guys play?
We often practice in Columbia. We use the city's Columbia Sports Field House.
Hmm.
We use them quite a bit. We also use Fulton Recplex quite a bit. Most of our kids know that they have a practice in Columbia and a practice either in Jeff City or Fulton. It's kind of a way we balance it. So one day a week you travel, some days you stay, that sort
Hmm.
of thing. Of course, tournaments are Kansas City, St. Louis, a little bit bigger places. So we travel for a lot, but the time in the car and knowing that you're going to be able to go and compete, it makes it all worth it.
Yeah. And I'm sure Julian and Andrew would be like, can we not get down to the beach in Florida or somewhere like that, please?
I know
All
they
right,
love it.
you
It's
see that
one of my
smile?
favorite
There you
spots
go.
too. Playing on the
Now,
beach is hard with the wind.
yeah, I noticed that in some of the videos, there's like an indoor beach volleyball. Where's that located?
That's Volleyball Beach Ozark. A lot of our
Okay.
kids actually get to do additional training in the off season, which we're very thankful for because unfortunately Columbia doesn't have something like that. So Julian and some of our other girls actually travel down there to go get touches and to compete. And I'm very thankful that they do because those are kids that are very focused on the beach and the hope is, to go play college or be a pro and that sort of thing. So to have that opportunity for them, even though it's 3 hours away, at least there's an opportunity. So my hope would be that eventually we have something like that here in Columbia for them.
Okay. Well, you know, coaching college volleyball, that would seem to be a pretty daunting task and take up a lot of time for, most people, but that doesn't seem to phase you at all. You decide that you want to do a lot more. How do you find the time to do all this stuff, and how do you organize all of that?
Honestly, it's a balancing game. People often ask me, how do I coach college and coach my high school kids? And honestly, I've been very fortunate to have a great support staff around me. My athletic directors in both locations are just great people, and they help me make it all work. Um, for many years, I've always worried about that I wasn't enough for one or the other, but I find each and every year I am able to give more and more of who I am because I get better at balancing it all. I also, of course, do indoor and I do beach for club and balancing those and then balancing the off season for both. It's just a juggling act, and some days it's easier than others, and some days I think it's more I can take more on it, but then I remember I can't take more on, but I will give all that I am to them, and that's probably one of my best and worst qualities is that I will give everything for my kids, and I'll do a lot for them.
That's great. And I know that parents and others appreciate it as well. Cindy Benny made the comment, love how Candace and Alpha Omega are pushing to grow the game. Thank you for that comment, Cindy. All right. Well, we've got a lot more to ask you, Candace, but we've got to talk to these young men too. Julian, why don't you tell us a little bit about the difference between court volleyball and sand volleyball? What's the difference, and what do you love about each of those?
Oh yeah. There's a big difference. They both say volleyball in the sport, but six players to two players, that's like the first big difference. Me personally, I actually like the two-player beach volleyball a lot more. I don't know, maybe it's just the fact that it's just on me and my partner only. Like that's just really it. I like doing a lot of the work in beach volleyball. You get to pass, set, hit, block. You kind of just do like the whole thing. Specified position that you play, which it doesn't really bother me. When I play indoor, I usually play. I'm usually setter or I'm an
Mhm.
outside. But I just find beach a lot more fun in my opinion. I like the shots. Like there's and beach volleyball, it's not just all about hitting. Versatility. There's a lot of things you have to do to just score a point. There's like so many techniques. There's sky balls, and then there's elements outside. I find beach obviously a lot more challenging. With the heat, two
Yeah.
players, it's a big tough mental game. It really shows how good of a volleyball player you really are because it kind of gets like every aspect of volleyball. Like if you aren't a good passer, you will see that you aren't a good passer. But I think because of that, though, it's made me a way better player because of that. In indoor, obviously, like I said, I can only set and really hit. So my passing wasn't really the best thing ever. So I did get aced a lot. So beach volleyball, especially with the wind moving the ball, it's definitely improved my passing a lot. And I just like the partner aspect, having a really close friend to play with. Um, a little arguments kind of happen sometimes, but that's okay, part of the game. But I just I just love beach more, and it's definitely what I'm going to pursue further in my life instead of indoor volleyball.
Okay. Well, as you said, it's down to the two of you, and you were talking about how, well, I know in beach volleyball, where if somebody is not quite as skilled in a particular area, the opposing team, they're going to attack that, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
100%.
And that's what you do to the other people that you play against, obviously, right?
Of course, I do that.
Now, I know there's probably only one person that you would fear going up against, and that would be Coach Candace. But we're not going to talk about that right now. But she's ready to go anytime, I can tell. Hey, we got a couple more comments. We have Beverly Ely. She's saying thank you, Andrew, Julian, and Coach for encouraging volleyball. And then Brad Randall said would love to see an indoor sand facility in Como JC area. The sport is growing. Awesome. And I know that these guys would love to see that as well. All right,
Definitely.
we're almost halfway through. We got Andrew. We've got another question for you.
All right.
What kind of opportunities are you looking for, and what would you like to see happening with boys volleyball?
Yeah, I would really like to see more boys connecting with the sport because it is really, truly a whole different experience. It's not really like any other sport that you see. You don't have this like slow moving or even like it's a kind of a mix between because sometimes it can be a bit slow, but then it gets really fast paced no matter what. So um, I just want to see a lot more people connecting with the sport and finding it and seeing a lot more places around Missouri and or even further than Missouri, being able to have the opportunity to play because it's an amazing sport.
And what would you say? Which one do you like more, beach or court?
I
Or is
really
that going to
like
get you?
both.
Or is that going to get you in trouble with coach?
No, I don't think this would get me in trouble.
Okay.
I really do like both. I have a fondness for sand because it was how I was introduced to the sport. Um, but I couldn't tell you which one I like more. I think there's definitely pluses to both. Um, yeah, I think there's just an even balance of both and the skills that it brings to you and the teamwork and all of the things that it does to get you ready to play either one. So I think both are even.
Yeah, and I'm sure Julian would say the same thing. Whatever sport it's time for, I'm loving that right now. So that's what shows that you truly have a love for sport is that you have joy and you're working hard and giving your all and having fun. So, would you agree with that, Coach?
Heck yeah, I would. And I think both of them, whether it's indoor season or beach season or a mix of both, they really give a lot of themselves. And that's what's made them good teammates and partners in the sand. And why they keep coming back is because they keep pulling kids back in with them because of the love they have for the game.
Uh, Before we go to break, I'll ask you one last question, Coach. How many so you're looking to try to fill out three teams. How many kids are you trying to get per team just to have a good balance? Substitutions, different things happening injury wise. What are you looking for there?
Ideally, it's 10. I think this year our older age group dropped down to 8, and our younger age group had 9, which
Okay.
was great. It allowed for our 14th boys, most of them had never been touched volleyball before. And by the end of the season, they're taking third at tournaments and they're doing big things, and we're so close at regionals. And then we have our 18s boys who some of them have been playing for years now, and they keep pulling more people into it. And that team had so many new kids because of them, and
Hmm.
they're continuing to develop it. And ideally, we have 30 to 35 kids that come out for indoor this year.
Well, good. Well, we'll let you talk a little bit about the skills training that's coming up, as well as the tryouts that are going to be coming up. I think that's in July, right?
Yes.
Okay, we'll let you talk about those when we come back from break. But you guys are doing awesome. This has been great. Um, we're just going to take a quick sponsor break, and we will be back in just a couple of minutes.
Cool.
CNS Business Services has been connecting employees with employers since 1977. Recently, CNS rebranded to CNS Employment Solutions to more clearly define their mission of serving the needs of applicants, employees, and businesses while remaining current and evolving with the changes in the workforce. One important thing has not changed. CNS Employment Solutions partners with a wide variety of employers, placing employees in jobs that match their skills and needs.
Say yes to CNS.
All right, CNS Employment Solutions, they've been our sponsor from the very beginning. They've been with us at the beginning of Sports Soccer Magazine, and they've been in business for over 45 years, and they are making sure that they get people that are needing jobs lined up with the people that are trying to fill those jobs. And so if you know anybody that needs employment, make sure that you contact Paula and her team at CNS Employment Solutions right here in Jefferson City, and they worked all throughout mid-Missouri here. So they are more than happy to help you find a job or help someone that needs a job get that filled. So also, I want to give a quick shout out to Big Whiskeys, and they are our sponsor for Coach of the Issue. And we've got Matt Miller from North Callaway that we have featured in this March-April issue. It's important to have good coaches, as we know with Coach Kandace Cook, and how much of an impact that they make on our young people, not only developing them in the sport, but also helping to mentor and develop them in life in general. So they always deserve a shout out for the time, the energy, everything that they put into teaching our student athletes. So we want to just say thank you, Big Whiskeys, for making sure that we give a shout out to them. All right, we have been interviewing Kandace Cook, the head coach for volleyball in William Woods University up there in Fulton. She's been there for, I think she's going in her second year. We'll ask her, she'll tell me yes or no. And just the success that they had in the first year was quite amazing. I know that she's got specific goals of where she wants to go, and we'll find out a little bit more about that. We also have Julian Robbins. He's a senior at Rockbridge, and he's looking at spending some time this summer. We'll have him talk a little bit more about that, playing some beach volleyball. And then also we have Andrew Ely, and he's a junior up in Lynn. And I want to talk to him a little bit more about what it's like playing a sport that maybe isn't traditional up in that area where he lives, but he can kind of talk about how he can be a pioneer in that in his community. So with that, let's go ahead and get going with our next part of the interview. Hey guys, you're all still here. Nobody hung up and left. Thank you. I always appreciate that. That's good. Coach, I wanted to share really quickly. I mean, we do have, I shared a little bit about our sponsor that gives a shout out to coaches. And I just want to say thank you for all that you do. And I'm sure these guys would say the same thing. Thanks for your time and effort that you put into the game and into them. So we appreciate that.
It's been my pleasure.
All right. Well, we're going to talk a little bit now about the difference between boys and girls volleyball as a sport. Why don't you talk a little bit about that, Coach?
Well, there's the obvious difference, the net height, which is greatly different. Our 14s boys were very fortunate. They still get to play on a girls' height net, but once you get to 15 and up, you start raising the net. And I think that's always a little scary when you're changing age groups because the net gets so much higher. And it's similar for girls, when they go from 12 to 13, they go from a low net to the regular net. But really, I think the difference is the style of game. As much as I'd like to say they're the same, they are very different. Girls volleyball is a bit more about technique. It's a lot of finesse, but of course they love for the power moves. They love for the power game and speed. And girls also typically have more rallies. There's a lot happening. You get so into the game when somebody's digging this ball, somebody's hitting this, and somebody else is digging this ball, and it's just continuous. Whereas boys are more traditionally about athleticism and just power. And there's far less rallies in boys volleyball or in men's volleyball because of the want and the athleticism to just hit a ball as hard as you can. They jump very high. They're all reaching for this ball. There's a lot of strength added into it, and the hitting technique is very different between girls and boys, men's and women's. The arm draw, the hang time, it's just a different game. So as much as the love of the game started with women's and girls with all this finesse and gracefulness in their technique, the power of men's volleyball, boys volleyball is quite addicting to watch. It's a whole
Hmm.
different kind of game.
Hmm. Yeah, and we can transition right into the Olympics and watching volleyball in the Olympics and both of them, beach volleyball and as well as the professional. I mean the court volleyball in the Olympics. Both of them are quite amazing to watch. I really enjoy watching that. But tell a little bit about what it takes for like these young men right here. What would it take for them to get to that level? And what do we need right here in mid Missouri to help give them everything that they need to be able to work towards that?
I think the club world is caught up. I think there's a lot of clubs, there's a lot of tournaments that, I think the tournaments could become more. There needs to be more of them. But a lot of our clubs are offering those opportunities. And I think what needs to happen is it's got to be introduced in high school. It has to start in middle school. They should have the opportunity to start growing in this game just like every other athlete that starts a sport in, I don't know, sixth grade, seventh grade. I know I have kids that started volleyball late, and that's fine if they're really dedicated to that sport. That start in middle school can really take them somewhere in high school. But you have to start having that foundation, and I know that's hard because there's even girls programs that don't have a middle school program yet, and that's really
Hmm.
unfortunate because that's preventing us from moving forward for boys too. There
Hmm.
just has to start being a foundation in high schools and middle schools for them to have the chance. And it's not going to come from just a random person coaching. If a random person's going to coach, they've got to really learn the game.
Hmm.
It's going to take people that love the game, that played the game, that have grown in the game to start pushing them to the next level so that the game does grow.
Hmm. Okay. You know, talking about that passion and pushing them and the time involved. Uh, Parents spend a lot of time taking the kids around to different places, especially in the early developmental ages. Uh, what can you say to encourage parents that hey, this is going to be worth it if you stick to it?
I think they just need to watch a game, watch a men's volleyball or boys volleyball game, and see everything that it takes to do it. See the way they work as a team, see the ability to jump, the ability to swing, see the pure hustle, the the moves that they make. Volleyball was always looked at as like a girl's sport. It was always viewed that way. But go watch some of these teams. Watch Olympic teams. Watch competitive AVP beach men's volleyball. It is such a different game. And I
Mhm.
think if they would just start opening their eyes to all the things that are out and a different type of game that there
Mhm.
is, if they would start seeing that my son can do this too. My kid wants to do this. Why not?
That's awesome. All right. So my friend Patty Barnard McFeeters, she's joined the program. She said Patty finally made it tonight. So thanks for joining us, Patty. Patty, we've been having a great interview with Kandace Cook, the head volleyball coach at William Woods, and also we've got Andrew Ely and Julian Robbins, two young volleyball players that are right here in mid Missouri. And um, Julian took off for just a second, so we're going to jump to Andrew. And Andrew, we're going to ask you this next question, and this is an important one. Tell us about Coach Cook and what you have learned from her to make you a better player.
Yeah, so Candace has really, she was my first like real coach, and your first coach is really a monumental part and a very big part in your journey at playing a sport and everything. So I think that I was really, really lucky to have a good coach that genuinely would help me and wouldn't just tell me that I'm doing everything right and everything. I really like that she would be able to pick out everything that I am doing wrong and show me how to do it right. And she was really a very big pushing factor in why I'm still playing today and everything.
All right. So, Andrew, why don't you tell us a little bit about the positions or the position that you play? Typically, what are you doing on the court? Talk about regular court volleyball, and then tell us a little bit about the sand volleyball and what you enjoy about the variety there.
Yeah, so my first season I was playing sand volleyball, so I played everything. I was doing all of it, and then I started at Club Como, and I was playing all around, and I was doing backup set and everything. However, as of this year, I got to take a more um, specific position, and I think it helped me a lot because instead of focusing on doing everything right and everything, I'm now playing middle, and that every part of the team is pretty good, and each one has a specific qualities that make it a good position. And for middle, it's really a super fun position because I get to be the first like line of defense for the team. Um, and if the middle's not doing their job right, or any of the front row, any of the back row, if any one part is not doing their job right, then the team's not going to do good. I especially like playing middle because I get to smack the ball down at everybody, and I get to block them. Blocking them's that's pretty fun.
Yeah, it is, and that's awesome that you like doing that, and I can see that Coach knows you like doing that. What kind of serve do you do, Andrew? Or do you do a running jump serve, or what kind of serve do you do?
Well, I don't do anything special. I like to do a nice like just walk up and do a float serve. I like to focus more on where I'm putting the ball as opposed to the power that I have on it. In the future, I would like to have a lot of power. Like a good top spin serve would be pretty fun. Um, but I do like my serve now. I've become used to it, and I've worked on my technique with it and everything. Um, and I think it's at our level, my serve doesn't seem like it's going to be pretty hard, but me just having a nice float to a spot that's weak on the court, it really helps to get us those points that we need if we're in a deficit or anything.
Very good. Do you put a knuckle on the ball at all? Does it move around like that?
Uh, I mean, not intentionally. Sometimes it happens, but when it does, I'll say that I did it on purpose. But
Okay, yeah, that's
no, I
what you do.
never do it on purpose.
Awesome. Great job. Thank you, Andrew. Hey, Julian, I want you to talk a little bit about your experiences with volleyball and some of the things that have really stood out to you during your time that you've played.
Yeah, of course. What has really stood out? I guess the amount of teamwork that's involved with volleyball. Um, I didn't really know how many times you really gotta like huddle up, high five after every point. I don't really see. There's not really any sport that really does that. Where like almost after every single point, you're like uplifting your teammate or whatever. Like maybe in basketball, like after a play, but like immediately you run down back on defense. It's the same as soccer and like other sports. So it's just like volleyball is a very like once it hits the ground, like the point is over, which is like something that like most sports are just like that's just not. It's just like boom, it's over. Next play, like move on. That's the type of sport volleyball is. Like it's just like you move on, you just get out and you make another play. Um, I thought about volleyball though. That's definitely like a lot of fun. Just like it's a big mental game. A lot of people don't really understand that. Like it obviously it's very physical. Like you not like one on one with somebody, but you got to like it's a lot of jumping, a lot of running, a lot of moving around, especially in beach. But mentally, like getting served and completely shanking the ball that gets to you, and then like not having a team to support you. I mean, it just brings the whole thing down. So having somebody or at least just one person at least, I mean, like it's okay, you got the next one. I mean, that's all. That's what volleyball is all about, like uplifting everybody. So that definitely stood out to me. I mean, I love that aspect a lot, and that's probably why my volleyball is like my favorite sport. It's just a lot of fun with my teammates.
Okay. So talk about your teammates. What are some of the things that you really appreciate or maybe even admire about some of them?
Um, yeah, I mean, definitely, for example, Andrew, I mean, he will get really hyped. He'll get into it, and I mean, we really need that as a team. Like sometimes we'll be down, I'll be down. Sometimes it happens, and I mean, Andrew's just there to like give me the hardest high five possible. It definitely hurts my hand, gives me a feeling, but it wakes me up. It wakes me up, and now I'm in the game. I mean, I love Andrew for that. I have a lot of other teammates that do the same thing. I also have this one teammate, Colin, cracks a lot of jokes when we play. It definitely helps the team morale. I mean, like whenever we're like, we're down or whatever, we're down in points or whatever, and just him making a joke just helps us laugh it off, move to the next point. But my teammates just, we help one another whenever one's down. The other one like help each other up, and I just love that aspect, and I love my team for that. I'm glad I was lucky enough to have a team like that. There's a lot of people that don't. So, but yeah, I'm just grateful for that specifically.
Well, good. So now, now everybody's going to want to know, is Colin going to be that guy that tells dad jokes when he's older? I mean, is he going to be that guy?
He might, but his jokes are unlike you. Like I don't even know what he'll say. It's something random that comes out of his mouth, but I tell you, it's really funny.
Okay, good. That's great. Uh, Real quick, I want to ask any of you guys. I want to get into some specifics, and you guys can answer whoever wants to. But talk about the net heights. Then talk about the court size for sand volleyball. Just some different things that we can give a few more details on for our viewers.
So
Coach, you
men's
got it.
goes up to like 7'11", I believe.
Okay.
So
All
it
right.
gets just under 8 feet.
Okay. And how about the sand volleyball court? What's the dimensions of that?
Net is the same height. Court shrinks in about 1.5 feet all the way around. I don't remember the exact dimensions. Obviously, a normal court is 30 by 30
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing, but it shrinks in about, I would say, 1.5 feet all the way around. So luckily, of course, we just have lines that we can just lay down that are the size. But sometimes you think that court is too big, but then on a great day, that court's too small
Yeah.
because you and your partner just work so well together on the
Right.
court. But it is always a journey when our boys or our girls are coming back from indoor and you start serving on that shorter court again and bringing that ball back in. Like Andrew talked about serving a float serve and putting it in a good spot. Like the spots now become smaller when you go to
Mm-hmm.
beach, and putting it in the right spot becomes even more important. And then we
Mm-hmm.
run across teams, and Julian does it as well, where it's more of an aggressive serve and it's coming hard and it's coming fast. So there's very different techniques that both of them do, and some of our other boys do as well. But definitely adjusting from indoor to beach is a change each season. But they do it every single season, getting their sand
Good.
legs back.
Very good. Thank you. Uh, Coach, I want you to answer, what would you say is the potential that both of these young men have for the sport, and just trying to help pioneer the program here in Mid-Missouri?
Well, I think they both have been great examples. I think we have a couple others that are the same. They're great examples for what we're trying to do here in Mid Missouri. And I know that I keep saying it, that I can't wait to watch Julian play beach on TV someday. And I really mean that. I can't wait to be like, man, I coached that kid. And one day he's going to be grown and he's going to be doing it. And I don't know if Andrew's going to go with beach or if he's going to go with indoor, if he's done after club, and that's okay. But I know whatever he decides to do, that he's going to be great at it. He's a great kid. He's very loyal. He works very hard, and we have kids like that on that team, and they're sitting here saying great things about their teammates, and it's true. When your sport is so small, your team is everything. You support each
Mm-hmm.
other, you help each other grow, you're there for each other. Whether your partners are not on beach, you are helping each other get better. And their willingness to do that for each other and to continue to try to bring more people in to help them learn the sport that they love, I know they're
Mm-hmm.
both going to do great things. And I just don't know what it quite looks like for either of them yet. But
Yeah.
I hope it's some big things with volleyball.
Good. it's evident that they love it and that they are going to work hard, and sounds like they'll go wherever it takes them. So, with that in mind, I want to ask you, Andrew, what are some of your goals with the future? I mean, you're a junior right now, but what are some of the goals and maybe some possibilities, some things you want to do?
Yeah, so throughout the years, I really didn't know what I was going to do after school or anything. With volleyball, though, it's something that I want to play as long as I can. So I'm really wanting to play that in college, whether that is a team that's like a division one, two, three, whatever team, or just a club team in college. I really want to find a college that has volleyball because it really is something that I want to do past club. Um, but with college, I want to become a chiropractor when I grow up. And I don't know, I just really like to help people, and I think that'll be a great change for me.
Anybody else kind of get a neck ache right now, and they're just like, "Hey, Andrew, help us out
Oh.
here." I'm pretty sure that Julian could use maybe an adjustment, maybe like in the bones of his hand from you hitting it so hard. I don't know. He might need some help there. Uh, Andrew, that's awesome. I think you're going to do well there. And being a chiropractor, that's a very good profession, and I know Coach would agree with that as well. But I want to ask you. You said earlier before we started the program, you were telling me some different things, activities that you're involved in at Lynn as well, some clubs, things like that. What are some other stuff that you're involved in?
Yeah, so at our school, I'm the class president for our class, and that brings about a lot of different leadership qualities. It really helps me there. I'm also in FCCLA, FBLA, Trinsad, Pep Club, all those. And outside of school, I am the treasurer for Happy Helpers 4-H Club in Osage County. And I've been doing that for, I think, 10 years now. Um, and that's really brought me out of my shell and helped me to be able to talk more and show people what I really love. Yeah, I think, yeah. I've also been a part of the YEP program, which is the Youth Empowerment Program. It's based out of St. Louis. You go in there, and at the end, you learn different things about leadership, public speaking, all that. And then you go and you do a big conference for state leaders and everything. Um, yeah, all these things have really brought me out of my shell, and I'm thankful for my parents who have helped me to get into these programs, and they really helped me to with putting me in these programs, get out of my shell and help me to talk more and everything.
Okay. So you did great because I was going to go ahead and throw this in on you guys because I didn't put it on the sheet that I sent to you. But tell us a little bit about your parents and just some of the things that you appreciate about them, and maybe some different character traits that you've picked up from them, and what you appreciate about those things.
Yeah, so my mom is, she's really into being out in public and helping people. And with that, I mean, it comes with a lot of um, people knowing her. And with that, it comes with people knowing me. And I used to be really shy talking to people, which happened a lot. I mean, she would always be staying after events talking to people, and I was just, pulling on her shirt, wanting to leave. But over time, I've realized that that's really pulled me out of my shell, seeing her and what she's accomplished, just being able to do that. And yeah, and then with my dad's been a really, really hard worker throughout my childhood. Um, yeah, right now he's working up at B-Scene Signs in Jeff City. Yeah, he puts a lot of work into it, a lot of dedication, and he's been doing that throughout my entire childhood. And seeing that has really put just that thought in my mind that you got to work hard for what you have, or else I mean, you're not going to have much. You gotta put the work in, or else, it's not going to work out for you. So I'm thankful for both of them and all the things that they've taught me throughout that.
Well, I'm going to give a quick shout out to your dad and his team at Be Seen Signs because we, at the church that I pastor, they did our metal sign that we have on the front of the building as well as the sign out front, and outstanding job. Now, I will say this, we have like a wind tunnel that runs right through there and blew our sign off, so they're repairing that for us right now as we speak. Well, maybe not right now, but during the week. So, no, they did an outstanding job. So tell your dad thank you.
Alrighty.
All right. Hey, your turn, Julian. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your family and the support that you have, and what do you appreciate about them? What kind of things have you picked up from them?
Yeah. My mom and dad are both very similar. They both love helping people. I feel like that's the same thing I love to do. I love helping people, like giving each other their hand. I mean, my mom's a nurse, and then my dad's a psychologist, so kind of makes sense why they, um, I mean, like people. I would say I'm just really grateful for the amount of like effort they're putting towards my volleyball career. I mean, my mom, after beach volleyball tournaments or indoor tournaments, she like spends hours and hours editing videos just for me. I mean, I don't even like, I ask her like I can help, but she's like, I got it, like you just like, take care of your body, go to sleep or whatever. But she like stayed up late like editing all these videos for me. And then my dad just spends so much time at work, like paying, like he goes to work every Monday through Friday, and he's out in Detroit consulting now. And then he comes back, instead of like going back to his house and relaxing, he whenever I got tournaments, right away he drives all the way down there just to watch me play. I mean, it's crazy. He doesn't get any time off,
Hmm.
and neither does my mom. They just put so much like effort towards me, and I feel like I need to appreciate them more for that. Especially, I need to definitely write some like thank you note or something, because it's just absolutely ridiculous all the stuff they've done for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. And guess what, guys? This is going to be on the internet for a very long time, so they can pull this up anytime, and they can remind you of all the nice things that you've said about them tonight. That's good. No, they sound like some amazing people, and again, I just don't think people understand how much time uh, parents put into um, getting their kids where they need to be when they need to be there. And if you're talking adding in club volleyball, just all the different things that you add in, it is a lot of time on top of just trying to raise their kids. So, well done, mom and dads. Very good.
Yes.
Julian, what are some of the goals for your future? Now, you shared a little bit before the program that you want to maybe take off a year. What are you looking at doing?
Yeah. So, I mean, the reason why I want to take off a year, like I said, originally from Canada. So, because of that, grading systems are a little different. So, even though I am a senior, I am only 17. I'll still be 17 if I were to go to college right after. I have a late birthday, so I make the cutoff. So that's definitely why I want to take 1 year off to kind of get back to my age group for sports, and also because beach volleyball, like already volleyball is a growing sport, but beach volleyball is like a little bit behind in that sense, especially for guys. And so there's not a ridiculous amount of colleges opportunities for beach volleyball. I mean, there are some, but not really what I'm kind of like looking for. So my goal is, well, I was lucky enough. So about a month ago at a camp I went for, a scouting camp, I was accepted to go to a national train development program for the USA 19 team for boys. And so I'm hoping to do well at that. If they accept me, I play on the U19 team. And then kind of my goal from there is, keep on playing in AVP professional tournaments, hopefully become an AVP pro. And the main dream is to hopefully play in the Olympics. Outside of volleyball, I kind of want to study under my dad in the psych field. I'm really interested in psychology. I'm in a psychology class actually. I don't know, it's really caught my eye learning about like the studies of brain and humans. It's just like kind of how like we work exactly. It's actually really fascinating. I mean, I didn't really know, there's so many things I didn't know about. So outside of volleyball, that's kind of like what I'm going for. So if I were to go into school, it would either be like a psychology major or like maybe a business minor. I don't really know exactly, but that's kind of a year ahead, so it hasn't really been decided exactly.
Okay, very good. Well, you guys have done outstanding. I'm going to finish up with Coach here, and then we're going to take just a few more questions that we like to find out a little bit of some of the things people don't know, kind of stuff. So, but I'm sure your parents do. But that's a whole different story. Coach, tell us a little bit about the Alpha Omega Boys Skills Clinic coming up this summer, and what do people need to do if they want to get involved with that?
So one of the best things to do is definitely follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We keep both pretty updated on Alpha Omega Volleyball. That's for both for Facebook and Instagram. Our skills clinics coming up are going to be on Mondays for 12 through 14, and then on Wednesdays 15 through 18. And those will run June 3rd through July 3rd. So once a week, be able to walk in there and work with some coaches. Of course, there's going to be girls there as well, so there's going to be more than just the boys. But kind of gives them some comfort of there's a lot of people there rather than just them. Just being able to see them grow this summer so that we can grow that interest before we get to tryouts.
Okay, very good. Now that's a great segue. Now talk about the tryouts. When's that coming up, and how do people get into that?
Perfect. Boys tryouts this year for HOA, which is the region that we compete in, is selected to be active on Saturday, July 27th. So we will host those at Legends Recplex, which is in Fulton, Missouri. And on our social media, you'll see the link to register for those things for both skills clinics and for tryouts. Tryouts will run from 9 to 11 for all age groups. And you just use the link we have linked onto our socials and sign up there, and we'll get going from there for our boys.
That's great. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you and you taking time tonight. I want to, while you're here, we want to ask the young man a couple of questions, and so we'll start with you, Julian. What is your favorite go-to snack after you're done playing volleyball, or meal?
Favorite go-to snack. Well,
I'm
it's
going to
kind of
jump
a
in
hard
real
one.
quick. I'm going to jump in real quick for Colin. How about a sandwich?
Here.
You know, he would actually probably make that kind of joke too. I'm gonna be honest.
See, that's what I'm saying. Okay, sorry,
That was
my
good.
bad.
No, you're all good. You're all good. That was funny. That was funny. Let me think. I'm definitely, to be honest, I'm not really the biggest eater when playing. I don't know. I have a lot of stomach problems when I play. I don't know why. It's not a good thing. I should probably start eating a lot more, but I don't know. I tend to get like a stomach ache or I have to go to the bathroom. So, but afterwards, I guess just peanut butter and crackers. I mean, you can't really go wrong with that. And then I also have these very specific. It's like Ritz toasted crackers. I don't know why. I just really love them. That's like my go-to snack afterwards. But yeah, snack wise, that's pretty much it.
Okay, good. All right, Andrew, you're up. How about you? What are you hungry for afterwards?
Normally my mom brings a lot of snacks to tournaments, so I eat whatever's left over after that. But really, after a full day of tournaments, I'm pretty hungry. So wherever we go, I order a lot off the menu, and it's gone within at least 5 minutes because I don't know. I just get really hungry after tournaments. So yeah, it's not really even just like a snack; it's a whole meal after.
Okay. So you sound like my grandson. He can eat anytime and whatever he will be there. He's in on it. All right. Well, I guess we should ask you, Coach. After coaching some all day long, traveling everywhere that you do, what do you enjoy as far as your favorite go-to snack?
I honestly don't have a go-to snack either, which is kind of silly, but after you've been out in the hot sun, especially, and you finally get to sit in the AC, all I want to do is drink something cold. I'll get a
Okay.
Gatorade, a Body Armor, and then my husband usually gets like the actual snacks, like chips and stuff, and I'll drink all of one of those, and then finally I'll be like, "Can I have some chips?" So I'll make him share with me after that.
Yeah. Well, don't you give a quick shout out to your husband? Just again, just all the different things you do. I mean, he has to be supportive of what you do, otherwise you wouldn't be doing all this, right?
He is pretty amazing. He's actually a really great coach for these boys and a lot of our girls too. I always say he's the calm to my crazy, and there's no truer statement. I've been very thankful. We've been together for almost 10 years, and I couldn't do it all without him.
That's great. All right. Okay, boys, last question, and this one is going to possibly have a little bit of kickback, but what is your least favorite chore to do around the house and why? Start with you, Andrew.
I think my least favorite chore is cleaning my room. Um, I'm fine with cleaning other parts of the house sometimes. I mean, I know my parents are listening, so I'm not going to say that I like doing any of those chores. But cleaning my room, I don't know. It just seems like, I don't know, it's just my space, you know. It doesn't seem like it needs to be too clean because I'm really the only one that sees it most of the time.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I think
So
that's
you're like,
probably
so you're like,
my favorite.
so you're like, why make my bed? Because I'm going to be getting back in it tonight, right?
Yeah,
That's how it
yeah.
is? Okay. All right. Julian, how about you?
All right. So originally it was cutting the lawn. I think it's just because my like backyard and front yard is like all hilly and weird. So it's really hard to cut and it's really annoying. But they let me off the hook with that. So then I would say next would be probably the garbage because I tend to forget a lot on every like Wednesday. I take the garbage out to the curb and my mom gets really mad at me. So that always gets me in trouble. So I don't like the garbage because of that. And it's also like absolutely disgusting. Like I don't know why. I just cannot with the garbage stuff. Like it's just like and somehow like some garbage juice will just pour on my leg. It's the worst thing.
So growing up, I would have to agree with you on that one. And here's the funny thing. My mom would wake me up on a Saturday morning. You had school all week. Saturday morning should be the morning that you get to sleep in a little bit, right? My
Mhm.
mom would wake me up early to take the trash out so that it would be ready to pick up like on Tuesday. I mean, what's up with that? Could I could have taken it out Saturday afternoon, Sunday evening, possibly Monday evening, but no, I had to take it out Saturday morning, and she would wake me up. But that's my mom, and it's possible that mom's watching. She would do stuff like unlock the bathroom door while I'm taking a shower, throw buckets of water over the top, cold water. You know, that's what I'm dealing with, and I'm not saying that to give your parents any ideas, but I'm just saying I think you guys got it pretty good. All right, Coach, how about you? What about the chore that you dislike doing the most around the house? I'm saying that
I'm
so your husband
gonna.
can hear you.
I don't actually do the chores.
All right, there you
I
go.
don't. I work a lot. Um, I do things that I really enjoy doing at the house. Like I make dinner, I make breakfast, I make lunch. So I always cook for my husband Jerry, and Jerry always cleans up after me.
Well, I tell you what, you making the food that's important. Wouldn't you guys agree? Isn't her making the food very important?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now you know what they like to eat too, so you can make sure you get that. Now make sure you get those toasted Ritz crackers, and then I'm thinking a quad burger for Andrew. I'm thinking that he can put that down, maybe.
I'll make note of it. I'll bring him
All
to
right,
the party at the end of the year on Sunday next week.
all right, very good, Coach. I'm gonna let you have the final word, and then we'll close out the program, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. But go ahead, Coach. Share anything that you want to.
Absolutely. I just want to thank everyone that has helped grow the boys' game to what it is now, and everyone that has been supportive of the former Club Como and now Alpha Omega volleyball and everything that we're building, not just for the boys, but for the girls too. And really, drawing attention to the boys' game and showing people how amazing it can be and all the opportunities that are out there for your kids, your nieces, your nephews, and everybody else in between so that we continue to grow the game that these boys have fallen in love with. And they're taking a whole different path of life that they wouldn't be taking if it wasn't for the sport. And I'm
Yeah,
just very thankful for everybody that's been supportive of that. Don't forget that tryouts are July 27th for boys volleyball for Alpha Omega.
All right, that is great. Now, if you guys will hold on for just a moment, I'm going to close out the program and then visit with you for just a brief moment afterwards. But thank you guys so much for joining tonight. It's been an awesome interview.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Hey, we've had a great interview. We had Coach Kandace Cook of William Woods University volleyball team, and we also had Julian Robbins. He's a senior at Rockbridge, and he's looking at carrying on with his career in volleyball. Hopefully, some beach volleyball. We'll be seeing him someday in the Olympics. And Andrew Ely, he is an amazing young man, junior up at Lynn High School, and looking forward to the different things that volleyball where it will take him, as well as his career as a chiropractor. And I just have enjoyed having them on here. But I just want to encourage you to share this with as many people as you can, because that's one of the things that they wanted to do tonight, is to create more awareness for boys volleyball right here in mid-Missouri. And the Alpha Omega team, they're doing an outstanding job in the development of that. And any support that you guys can give, encouraging others to get involved, sharing, liking, all those different things. So thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. This is your host, Kirk DeMars. This has been One Nation, a Sports Soccer Magazine Extra, and I will see you guys next week. God bless you. We'll see you later.